XRP had a massive day yesterday. There's a lot of looming things right now that are going to radically transform the financial system. And yesterday was a really big day. In today's video, we're going to talk about the CME and how XRP has gotten absolute clarity. Wall Street with the SEC, and now they join things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP now are complete legit assets. We also had the Genius Act. A lot of people were saying the bill passed. The bill didn't pass. It passed the first stage, and now it's in debate for the next 30 hours. So we're going to watch a video explaining exactly what the Genius Act is, the stablecoin regulation, and Elizabeth Warren is absolutely losing her mind about this. The left is now going to go on a full-out attack on crypto, but remember, we're going to win in the end. I promise you. We went from the wild west to crypto being a legit asset class to asset managers wanting to put 2 to 5% of Bitcoin in their allocation. And I'll tell you what, if you're sitting on the sidelines, it's time to get on this freight train, because here's what's going to happen. As Rosie Rio said, the freight train has left the building. You're going to go on, I'm saying this, you're going to go on the ride of your life. You're going to get ran over by it. But everybody at some point is going to be on this train. So we're going to continue to break this down. On the back end of every video, I share with you exactly what I'm doing. There's also an education section within my YouTube channel here where I break down and I peel back the whole curtain. I will never share with you anything I'm not doing myself. So the first video that we are going to watch is going to explain the Genius Act. And this is by Senator Bill Hardy, okay? Hartigy. You know me and my dyslexia. So let's just listen to what he has to do to explain it. And then we're going to talk about some exciting news with XRP around CME and the futures. It got 100% Wall Street legitimacy.
And what does this actually do for folks who don't know?
It's actually born from a great deal of frustration. We started working on the bill in earnest back in the fall. But we've watched what's happened with the absence of any type of regulatory framework here in America. And what we see is this type of innovative technology moving offshore. The last thing I want to see is that. I don't want to see innovation leaving America. It's all happening here right now. But what we saw was a lack of regulatory framework, which means a lack of certainty. And if you're using, enforcement actions from the SEC, which was what has been happening for the past 4 years to regulate the markets, it creates massive amounts of uncertainty. This will fix it.
So, but in terms of just understanding how this bill works and what it does, what is it?
It basically establishes a legal and regulatory framework to issue stable coins here in America. Stable coin is stable, meaning it's backed by a certain currency. In this case, it's tied to the US dollar, but also it's backed either by cash or by short-term US Treasury securities. So it's entirely safe. Having that type of regulatory framework and disclosure around it, so we know exactly what's backing up these digital dollars, if you will, is going to be great.
I'm telling you guys, man, we are moving to an asset-backed currency in a digital currency type of way. They're going to revalue gold. They're going to bring Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And those who hold Bitcoin, those who hold deflationary assets, that's why I focus on cash flow, not cash. I transmute it into deflationary assets. I use insurance for protection, and I use leverage. Remember, leverage, you have to take risk, guys. You have to take risk. And this is the interesting thing. People won't take risk and leverage to get cash generating assets or to build cash flow, but they'll take risk and buy a $60,000 car with a $60,000 salary, right? They'll take a risk and they'll get a loan and they'll leverage for a $100,000 education, but they won't leverage to buy a cash generating asset. We have to flip our brains as Americans to get out of this debt-based cycle, okay? Paul Atkins, the new SEC chair, he said, I'd like the commission to allow SEC registrants to custody and trade both securities and non-securities under one roof. Enabling this reality could reduce cost for investors while allowing non-security trading to enter a regulatory environment. This is the new SEC chairman at the federal level expeditiously. This would be an initial step towards the possibility of eventually achieving super app reality. What a stark difference from Gary Gensler to the SEC chairman now. CME Group and Seagate bet on Ripple around their 28 million A series. Okay, Series A, excuse me. So Ripple hit CME. So we'll break this down. Brad Garlinghouse, the launch of the regulated XRP futures on CME Group, marks a key institutional milestone for XRP. And very excited to report that Hidden Road cleared the first block trade on CME and the opening. Okay, This is really important. So this amazing guy, Coach JV, posted this yesterday. He said the launch of XRP futures on CME is Wall Street's green light to engage with XRP at scale. It's no longer just a crypto native asset. It's now a regulated financial instrument with institutions, access, compliance, infrastructure, and capital entry points. Now, some people are posting that this is a negative thing, that they can play games. Guys, it's going to be part of the market. Bitcoin's going to be part of Wall Street. It already is. Ethereum, now XRP. This gives massive legitimacy to XRP, our digital asset. I'm going to leave you guys with this. So Circle pursues IPO, but talks with Coinbase and Ripple could mean a scale, source says. Taking part in informal talks to sell itself to Coinbase Global, the largest crypto exchange in the US, or to crypto payments company Ripple, according to 4 banking private equity executives. Man, the system is changing dramatically, guys. This is very, very exciting. That's why patience, persistence, discipline, and consistency, dollar cost averaging, holding the line, and building a strict game plan is going to be very, very important. Okay. So I'm going to start out with this. We have 24 hours left. So, men, if you want to hang out with me, live Coach JV right here in our facility for our Awaken the Inner King event, you have 24 hours left to get 50% off. There'll still be tickets available after tomorrow. This event is on June 27th. You will click the link down below in the description of my video, or you're going to click this third link in my social media platform. Go to Awaken Your Inner King. We're going to break down the foundations of God, family, protecting your ecosystem at all costs. You're going to walk out with a tactical plan, principles, spiritual, financial, and understanding how I build my ecosystem. And we're going to break bread together, and we're going to get extremely uncomfortable together. So be ready for that. Okay. This event is June 28th and 27th. Okay. The VIP has sold out, but we still have general admission. I'll explain what that is. General admission sounds like, just general. You're going to be live with me in very intimate setting here in my event. The general admission until midnight tonight is only $300 for this event. It is going to be life-changing. You're going to walk away with a strategic, tactical plan to get your shit together the next 6 months, okay? Around, they say you are who you surround yourself with. This event will absolutely change your mindset. It will change your life, and you'll walk away with my exact tactical plan on how I call it kingdom energy, how I built kingdom wealth, and how we're going to continue to expand. So I'd love to see you in the event. After the 24 hours, it'll go to regular price. And there still will be tickets available, but I guarantee you the money you spend will be well worth it. All right, so let's dive in. So if you're new to my channel, I explain to you exactly what I'm doing. I explain my exact strategy, and as it changes, I bring to you what I'm doing, okay? Not financial advice. I'm just being honest with you on how I do my ecosystem. I focus on 4 components. Number 1 is cash flow. Number 2, not cash. Number 2 is appreciation, appreciation. I use assets that are deflationary. It's a strategy that I created in regards to focusing on what is going to be opposite of the inflationary dollar when they start printing more money. I focus on protection. You should always have a form of protection for your money. And then last is leverage. Okay. So Bitcoin, I'm never selling. I'm holding it forever for legacy, and is like a Bitcoin bank that will continue to store I'm storing my cash in XRP and Bitcoin. That's what I choose to do. So my cash, for example, my XRP as of today, I think it's 590% since 2020. So imagine if you stored your cash in a deflationary asset that went up 580% since 2020, when people who stored their cash in the US dollar lost 19%. I gained 580% around, well, it goes back and forth, 580% since 2020, and I gained 125% on my Bitcoin. So I gained 125% on my cash in Bitcoin, and I gained 580% on my XRP. And that's only going to continue to grow as we get more legitimacy, the Stablecoin Act passed, Wall Street comes into crypto, asset managers, the baby boomers start flooding their money into this wealth. Our lives are going to radically transform financially. Okay. So all other cryptos, I exit 50% in the bull run, which we're going to go into a parabolic move on the back end of this year. I believe August, September, October, November, this is going to start to fly up. So I have other components. I have a cash generating dividend ETF strategy. That's cash flow. I have businesses that create cash flow. Okay. When I create cash flow or I have appreciation, I stuff some into my insurance policies for protection. My principal is guaranteed. When these markets come collapsing down, my principal is insured. It's guaranteed zero floor. I can borrow against my cash value, leverage, bank on myself. Okay. And I also have protection for my family. So my money's protected, my family's protected, and I have a leverage component, which is banking on yourself. Okay. Now I have two leverage components. I have my insurance accounts that I can use for leverage. You know, it's beautiful. I can borrow at around 5% from my insurance policy. If I'm making 10% on my money indexed in the market, I'm still making 5% on my money as I go buy another cash generating asset. Okay. I also have my Bitcoin bank. I can leverage the Bitcoin bank just like I did to buy my general agency, my insurance company, Freedom Insurance, and my Freedom Insurance is going to pay it back. We have 10 months left. And now we have 100% of our never sold any of my Bitcoin. We have 100% LTV again. We have the ability to borrow once again. And we have a cash generating asset that was bought with other people's money. Okay. We have to start thinking differently. Cash is absolute trash. Follow Ray Dalio's Changing World Order. Why do you think Ray Dalio flipped his mindset and said, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know. I need to start getting into this Bitcoin about 5% allocation. Why do you think Larry Fink went from it's used for money laundering to the #2 holder in the world in Bitcoin through the ETF? Why do you think America and China are #1 and #2? Why do you think BlackRock is #3 holder in Strategy B, which is the biggest Bitcoin strategy? Okay. Why do you think Saudi Arabia has Misty, or excuse me, not Misty, MicroStrategies? Okay. Why do you think Dubai has BlackRock in their asset, their sovereign wealth fund? It's all being played out, guys. This is a switch to a deflationary system. It has to change. There's no other way it can go. It has to go to a asset-backed currency in a digital currency type of way. Number one, they're going to have to remonetize the balance sheet. They're going to create a sovereign wealth fund, and we're going to grow our way out of this economy. They're going to turn this printing machine on full blast. Okay. They are going to monetize a shitload of debt, and they're going to work to, this is what they're going to do. They're going to turn the printing machine on full blast. Okay. They're going to work to monetize the balance sheet by putting things like Bitcoin, a sovereign wealth fund. Okay. And they're going to go hard on growing our way. They're going to try to grow GDP faster than debt. That's how they're going to do it. So if you're just sitting in debt, which is the American dollar, you got to transmute that. You got to grow with this economy. Think about that. You got to grow with this economy. How do you grow with the economy? Look at all the innovation. Bitcoin, XRP, NVIDIA, Tesla, all these different things. Pay attention to what's actually happening. Microchips, all these things happening. You can actually invest in the future. Grow your way, grow your family with the economy. Don't sit in the mud. Don't sit in the old industrial era. Don't be stuck in your grandparents' and your parents' economy. Start to innovate, study, go deep with this stuff. So I love you guys very, very, very much. If you need any support at all as well, on the 3T Warrior Academy side, we've helped 11,300 people worldwide. Actually, going to be 400 by today, 400 people. So if you click the description of this video on my social media platform, you see a 4-week series where you can go live with me through a 4-week series where I break down my 4 strategies: cash flow, appreciation, protection, and leverage. I show you my whole game plan. I break it down for you. Okay. Also have a free section on my YouTube channel, and I break down all this stuff. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.